Hi there, this is my demo for week 4. So, let's go ahead and log in. ABC123. So we have our basic login functionality still. And as you can see, I've changed the look of the website. I changed the whole design of it, really. We now just have a fixed header that just stays at the top no matter where they are. Let's go ahead and submit work hours, and then you can see the headers there, and there's an option to head home. Let's go ahead and add some information real quick. Employee ID 1, that's my ID. Let's say we worked tomorrow from 6 o'clock and had an hour-long lunch. Ooh. And we stopped working at 6:30 p.m. We did so many different things. And submit. Time successfully added. Let's go ahead and go home and go ahead and view our work hours. So we already had a couple things in the database. As you can see, I've added for week 4, my 2 new features are update and delete. You had messaged me, or you had said in the grade that that was expected for week 3, but if you look at my PRD, that I said week 4 update and delete would be delivered, and I wasn't told that that was wrong. So I hope that this is okay, that these are my 2 new features. So let's go ahead and demonstrate update. So if we click update, it looks up, as you can see up here, it looks up in our database what the ID of that work entry is. So if we go over here, connect to our database, and go into work hours, we can see on the day that I worked the 24th from 9 to 4:35 is an ID of 14, and that is in fact what we clicked, or 6:35, my bad. And let's go ahead and change the time. Let's say we had not just a 20-minute lunch, but an hour and 30-minute lunch, and we actually got out at 4 on that day. And we didn't really do too many things, so I did not so much. And submit. And now you can see the one we went to update now has the different times and the new activity. And to demonstrate my delete, you can see at the bottom down here where the URL is displayed, it just finds the ID of the entry, and instead of updating it, it deletes it. It refreshes the page, redirects them actually, and refreshes it, and voila. And then the user can go home and they can log out. And that's all there is to that. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the mobile framework to work, so I'm still just using my basic mobile-friendly CSS that I wrote. One thing that I did forget to show was it actually updating on the back end. So as you can see, I have the work hours table, and if we refresh it, we just deleted that last one. It's no longer there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the code now. We'll go over update first. So for my controller, update work hours, we have just a couple of functions really. A function to get the work ID from the URL, and then it stores it in a data array and passes that to update work view. The next function we have is update work ID, and what it does is just get the information from the form that the user inputs when they're going to update the data, and then it pushes that to our functions in our model to update the database. So let's go ahead and take a look at that now. So we have work hours update, and we have show work, which returns everything in the work hours table to be used by the controller. Then we have the show work ID, which selects everything from our work hours table based on the ID and stores it in a query and returns the results. And then we have update work ID, which takes in the ID and the data from the query, and it just updates on based on the ID what the user put in for the new information. And let's go ahead and take a look at update work. This is our view for the update. All it is just a form, and it gets all the information from our array and puts it from the database into the form fields, and then from there they can choose to update the data however they like. In order to submit the data, I created custom routes. So if we go over to routes, we can see we made one for delete as well. But work, update, and then it takes in the ID basically, and then that translates to our actual PHP files. And then we made a route for when they actually hit submit, it updates the information and then reroutes them back to their work. Now let's take a look at our delete functionality. So first we have the controller. In getWorkHours we have a function called delete. It takes in an entry ID and it calls on the model and its function delete entry to actually delete it. And once that it's deleted from the database, it redirects them back to their work page. So let's go ahead and take a look at the model for deleting. So we have workHours delete. We have one function. Well, we have the constructor function, but we have one function called delete entry, which takes in the entry ID, and it just creates a database database query that deletes based on that ID. And then our delete and update functionality is actually implemented in our getWorkHours. So as you can see, we have a loop that outputs all the information, just like last week. But we've since added two anchor tags that create a custom link to take the user to the update functionality for that particular entry. And that's my demo for week 4. Thanks for watching.